fitness. My objective at the end of the day is to make sure you get the right information to transform your body. There's a lot of misinformation out there that people love to tell you to do this and do that. But I'm going to give you what you need. No BS, no gimmicks. I ain't selling no programs. I ain't selling you no supplements. What I'm going to do is teach you how to get in great shape. All you got to do is follow these fundamentals. I'm telling you right now, not only are you going to get in great shape, you'll be able to maintain great shape for the rest of your life. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not an influencer. I tell y'all this all the time. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I've been a personal trainer since 2010. It is 2025. Personal training is my full-time job. This is what I do to pay my bills. This is what I do to eat. So I want you to understand, I know what I'm talking about. And don't hesitate to drop your questions as we go along all this information. Because there's a lot of information to take in. I want to make sure you understand one thing. Anybody at the end of the day can get a nice physique. You just have to put in the work. You don't got to do no extra. You ain't got to pop no pills. You ain't got to take no pre-workout. You don't need no creatine. You don't need none of that. In the fitness industry, there's a lot of sales gimmicks that make you feel as though you need this, you need that, you need this in order to achieve a body like myself. I want you to understand, I don't take anything. No multivitamins, no supplements, nothing. Not saying there's anything wrong with these things. I just want you to understand you don't have to go and spend $300 on supplements to hope to look good. You gotta know what to do in order to get in great shape. It starts with that. Don't overcomplicate it and think, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. You just need to know these three fundamentals. These three fundamentals are going to be game changing if you implement them, and you have to be consistent. You gotta be consistent. People don't understand this. You gotta be consistent. If you're not gonna be consistent, then I want you to understand one thing. You ain't gonna be able to keep what you got. This is another reason why I'm not a fan of crash diets. You don't need to fast. You don't need to do all this extra craziness. You don't need to do all of that. The first thing you need to do is, one, find out your X factor, your reason why. Why is it so important for you to get in shape now? Why is it so important for you to get in shape now? With your X factor, I say this all the time. You need to understand that it's you versus you. You shouldn't be worried about what no one else is doing, because what you eat don't make me and what they eat or what you eat or what I eat don't make you You get what I'm saying? So I need us to understand these small fundamentals. They make a huge impact. It says, so many methods, everybody thinks there's one best. Facts. There's so many methods to get in great shape. You can get in shape from playing tennis. You can get in shape from playing basketball. You can get in shape from cycling. You can get in shape from being a long jumper. You can get in shape from running track. There's so many different ways to get in shape. I always say, to build consistency, when you find out what your X factor is, the next thing you really need to do is you need to find something that you enjoy. It may sound crazy, but it's true. If you find something that you really enjoy, it makes it that much easier to stay in shape. Because my biggest thing is, I don't want you to just get in shape. I want you to be able to maintain the shape that you in. It's another reason why I'm not a big fan of crash diets. Because guess what? Once you get off that crash diet, 90% of the time you can go right back to where you were before, because you still haven't built a healthy relationship with food. And I need you to understand, the better your relationship with food is, the easier it is for you to get what you want. I understand my methods are a little bit different. I've been going the extreme. If you've been tapping in and watching what I post, do understand I garden. I'm a little different. I'm not putting my food in just anybody's hands. I garden. A lot of people aren't willing to do that, but I'm not saying you have to do that. But I need you to understand, where is your food coming from at the end of the day? Because food at the end of the day is going to be that in between, right? Food is going to dictate, are we going to gain weight? Food is going to dictate, are we going to lose weight? And there's a lot of things that people aren't realizing. They're loaded with so much extra. That's the reason why it tastes good. That's the reason why you coming back for more. That's the reason why you can't seem to get away from this. It seems harder to not want it because of the chemicals that's loaded in it. The chemicals are also increasing the shelf life. You gotta understand these things. These things are important to understand. The more you understand these things, the easier it is for you to get what you want. I want to show you something too. I'm always on understanding. The basics are once you understand the basics, you can build the foundation. This is a great example. This is 5 pounds of fat. This is 5 pounds of muscle. I'm gonna repeat myself. This is 5 pounds of fat. Right here is 5 pounds of muscle. However you weigh this on the scale at the end of the day, 5 pounds is 5 pounds, correct? But look at the difference. Look at the difference. This is a great example for those who don't understand this. Everybody at the end of the day has a 6-pack. Everybody got a 6-pack. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your 6-pack is you got too much of this body fat. Body fat. You haven't been able to work the extra food off. The drinks that you drinking is just accumulating more and more body fat. Some of these additional ingredients to increase the shelf life, your body doesn't know what to do with it, but create more body fat. The more you understand these small things, the easier it is for you to get in great shape. And I want y'all to understand, getting in great shape is easy. You just have to be disciplined. Getting in great shape is easy. You just have to be disciplined. If you're not going to be disciplined just like anything else, what are you going to expect from it? If you're not willing to put in work, do understand, what are you really going to get from it? So I need us to understand, these are some of the basic fundamentals in order to really get what you want. We got 5 pounds of fat. This is all that body fat for those 30%, 25%. You got too much of this. The more we see of this, the more we going to see that 6-pack. Everybody on this live has a 6-pack. Once again, the only thing that's stopping you from seeing that 6-pack is the body fat. So once we start getting lower and lower and lower in body fat, the more definition we're going to see. The more you're going to be able to see your chest development. The more you're going to be able to see the definition in your shoulders, the definition in your arms. It's from having a lower body fat. Let's not overcomplicate this. Everybody else wants to sell you supplements. You got to take this in order to look good. You don't need none of that shit. You need to learn how to properly shop and fuel your body. I say this all the time. If you drive a Mercedes-Benz, why are you putting regular gas in your vehicle? If you drive a Ferrari, why are we putting regular gas in our vehicle? If we drive a Bugatti, why are we putting regular gas in your vehicle? So I want you to understand, when we eating out all the time, all we're doing is fueling our bodies with regular gas. That's not something that you want to do. Mainly if you wanted to perform at a high level, not just physically, but mentally as well. I think some people fail to realize that what you eat does affect your mental health as well, not just your physical health, your mental health as well. This is another reason why I say you need to understand where your foods are coming from. It's going to make a big difference. Check this out. We got body fat percentage. This is a body fat percentage, so you can get a understanding of where I'm coming from. The higher we are in body fat, what do we see? Less and less definition. Less and less definition. The lower we are in body fat, what do we start to see? Chest development, quad development, arms ripped, 6-pack abs starting to show up. And you know why? It's from having a lower body fat percentage. And everybody can achieve this if they want to. That's the thing. You got to be real. 3 things you need to be focusing on in order to achieve this. 1 is going to be recovery. 1 is going to be recovery. All my people, I don't need sleep. How is the body going to repair and recover itself? If you don't need sleep, how is the body going to prepare and recover itself? I always say, for those who don't need sleep, Look at how you're affected mentally. Look at your attitude. Look at your energy. It changes with lack of sleep. I've been there, done that. I've been there, done that. But do we also need to understand that when we're breaking our bodies down from the workouts, what do we need? We need to repair. We need to rebuild. We need to recover. This is another reason why recovery is very important. If you're not maximizing your recovery, I need you to understand you're going to stagnate in results. There's 3 things you need to focus on. Recovery is one. Recovery consists of a variety of things. People fail to realize it. Recovery consists of a variety of things. Sleep is a part of recovery. Do understand the stages of sleep are important. This is showing that are you getting low quality sleep or you're getting high quality sleep if you're able to reach each and every stage. Another thing we need to pay attention to is rest days, off days from the gym. For all my people that love to think if I work out 6-7 days a week, my physique will look that much better. If you're not maximizing your recovery, how is it going to look better? Because when you're working out, all you're doing is breaking the body down. Why you think you get sore? Why you think the pump that you chasing when the pictures in the gym, you look good, but once you get home, you look different. You got to understand you're breaking down the body. And the beautiful thing about the body adapts to everything you give it. You feed it more, it adapts. You feed it less, it adapts. They say, oh, you ain't doing that no more? It is what it is. So I need you to understand that recovery is important. Foam rolling is a part of recovery. Massage guns are a part of recovery. You get what I mean? Your splits even play a huge role in your recovery. Another reason why, for those who want to develop an area and they like, oh, I want to develop chest, and they think that if they train their chest 3 times out of the week, the chest will look better. It's not always the case. Sometimes less is more, believe it or not. Mainly if you're effectively challenging these areas. These are things we need to keep in mind when it comes down to recovery. There's no such thing as a perfect split, but do understand your split allows you to maximize your recovery because you're not hitting the same area over and over and over and over and over again. So when the body's actually allowed to repair itself, you'll see a drastic difference. I know I'm giving y'all a lot of game, but do me a favor, drop your questions if you do have questions about anything that we're going over right now. Because like I said, I want you to understand this. I'm breaking down a lot of the basics because the basics build the foundation. All those little exciting, entertaining workouts that you see people do online to get your attention, that's not what they're doing to get results. I'm a testament of that. When I go to the gym, I'm not flipping my arms up here, throwing my, like, we don't need to do all of that. I'm maximizing little things like machine bench press. I'm maximizing little things like machine rolls. I use a lot of machines at the end of the day because I love how it effectively breaks down the body. It says, how often should you train abs? It's not how often should you train abs. Abs should just be worked out at least 3 times a week. And how much you train abs is going to be relative to what you want from your ab exercises. Me personally, I do 2 to 3 ab exercises before I start my physical activity, and then we go do what we gonna do. I'm not doing a full day of ab training. I ain't got time for that. I got 3 children, so I want y'all to understand too. Where I'm coming from is somebody who ain't got a lot of time. I ain't got a lot of time to be in the gym 8 hours a day. I do 2 to 3 ab exercises before my physical activity, and that's about it. You know what I mean? It says, do you drink on a daily? I don't drink at all. I'm not a drinker, by the way. I'm not a drinker. Do you do cardio? Of course you gotta do cardio. Cardio is heart health. Right now, my program is structured on a lot of cardio. So I do cardio through pickleball. I do cardio through basketball. And I'm going to get my cardio on cycling. I do bike when it's a point that I want to give my body a little bit of rest. And also, I hit the Stairmaster, treadmill, cardio changes. So I definitely do cardio, and everybody should do cardio at the end of the day. Don't get that twisted. You need to be doing cardio. How much cardio you should be doing is going to be relative to your goals. So there's no cookie cut answer of how many days should I train abs. It's all relative to what you're looking for out of your program and how strong or weak this area already is. But 2 to 3 ab exercises to start off is going to be more than good enough. It says, do you use the sauna. I used to use the sauna. I haven't been using it currently because I will be honest with you, I've been slipping on my water intake. And for me, I want to make sure I'm drinking way more water before I hit the sauna, because you got to understand, the sauna at the end of the day is going to dehydrate the hell out of you. So if you're somebody that's not drinking enough water, I need you to tap in with drinking a lot more water. And when it comes down to saunas, I'm going to be real with you. I prefer the infrared sauna rather than, I forgot the other name of the other sauna, where they have like the little machine and it's like the little fake rocks on it. They have them like at Gold's and things like that. But for me, I like the infrared sauna because it warms the inside of the body instead of the outside of the body. And it doesn't seem as hot, but you can definitely get a proper warm up in infrared. Infrared is something I actually used to do for my warm up. I used to hit the infrared sauna for about 10 to 15 minutes before I got into my physical activity. But as of this year, like I said, I have not been doing a lot of sauna work. I haven't really been doing a lot of sauna work. Sauna work is actually a good way to detox the body. And I always say this, you already know you're not eating good if you can smell yourself. And I'm talking about that awkward smell. That's already telling you that you're not eating healthy. I'm telling y'all right now, if you have excessive odor from sweating and your sweat stink, this is an indicator that we need to change up what we consuming on a regular basis. But once again, if you are going to hit the sauna, like I said, make sure you load up on some water and you staying hydrated. Another thing to hydrate the body, you can do watermelon, coconut water is another one, just to give you a couple things that'll actually properly hydrate your body outside of water, but still make sure you are getting in your water on a regular basis. And even speaking of water, do understand water is going to be relative to your activity, as well as your current weight, as well as your current height. It says, what foods do you not eat? Well, that's a good one. I can't say there's too much that I don't eat. The only thing that I've noticed doesn't really do well for me is peanuts. Peanuts for me is not, it don't really work out right for me with peanuts. I get gassy, that's one thing. And on top of that, from peanuts, when I eat them a lot, it just makes my stomach hurt. So that's one thing. And I'm gonna be real with you. This is another reason why I do talk about gluten-free and digestive systems, is I've noticed gluten doesn't always do well for me. It just seems like it's like pouring water in a cup. If I have a small amount of gluten, it'll work out. But if I consume more and more and more and more and more, it doesn't work well for me. And then I'll have I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on what I have. It like flares up on my skin. I forgot what it's called right now. I'm drawing a blank because I'm thinking too hard. But do understand, it's not a lot that I don't eat, to be real with you, outside of staying away from processed foods. I'm big on staying away from processed foods. Like I said, I garden on a regular basis. Like right now in my garden, we're growing zucchini, peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers. We have 2 different types of lettuce. I have a raspberry bush. We have peas. We're growing beets. We're growing onions. So just to give you a heads up too, I do at the end of the day pay a lot of attention to what I consume in my body at the end of the day. It says looking jacked, coach. I appreciate it. And I'm going to be real with you. You saying I'm looking jacked. This is me out of shape. I'm going to be real with you. Right now I'm hovering at 158. And this is me doing a lot of cardio. This is me doing easy 15 to 22,000 steps a day. So I do want y'all to understand, this is really me out of shape, to be honest with you. I've been doing more cardio-based exercises. Like I said, I have been doing a lot of machine work for the most part. I try to get people to understand machines they're not just for beginners. I love using machines, mainly if you've been tapping into the videos lately. I'm going to make sure I answer all these questions, by the way. Keep dropping your questions. It says, do you track macros? I don't track anything. I've never used a food scale. I never used MyFitnessPal, anything to that nature. But just because I haven't done it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. My biggest thing, I don't got a lot of time. And on top of that, I'm going to be real with you. I have a personal chef, so I don't even cook my own foods. I pay the extra bread to get my food cooked for me. So I do want to be very clear on that. When it comes down to it, they may be doing a lot of that. But me personally, I haven't picked up a pot, pan. I haven't washed a dish in over 5-6 years, to be real with y'all. I'm talking about a minute. So I always say, in certain scenarios, for those who keep saying eating is expensive, it's not expensive. DoorDash is expensive. Uber Eats is expensive. Alcohol at the bar, if you're doing If you're doing drinks, it's expensive. $18 for a drink. Let's think about it. It's a lot of things that's expensive. But when it comes down to tracking, I'm going to be real with you. I'm all about balance. I've always been about balance. Once again, I garden. I grow my own food. That's going to be a lot different. What you getting from the grocery store is going to be a lot different from what I'm actually growing in my plot. So do be aware of that. Somebody asks, always ask, why do people want to know how tall you are? I always want to know that. What difference does it make with the height? Not saying I got a problem with the height or I'm short as hell or anything like that, but I always want to know, what is the point of people asking how tall you are? I don't think that makes a difference at the end of the day. Is this questions, are machines better on your lower back? I do free weights right now, and damn, continuously injuring my lower back. If you continuously injuring your lower back, one thing I want you to do is start documenting your exercising. You might be thinking that you're doing good form or executing good form and technique, and you might need to really work on your form and technique. So that's one thing I will say. Secondly, I'm not going to say one thing's better than the other, because everything does have pros and cons. But the beautiful thing about utilizing machines is you don't have to do a lot of stability work. So a good example is, if I get under a barbell bench press, right, and I'm doing something heavy like 225 or 250, right, and I'm under this bar, you have to have a certain amount of core strength, glute strength, lower back strength, because when you lift in a heavy weight, you can easily shift left or you can shift right. When it comes down to machines generally lock you in place. So when you locked in place, you don't have to fight for stability as much. So there are, once again, when it comes down to something like dumbbells or free weights in general, do understand that you're going to have to do all of the work. So a good example, when I'm using the machines, some machines allow you to work right, say you're doing a chest press, and doing the left when you work chest press. Some machines, most machines, I would say, you have to do both at the same time. When it comes down to dumbbells, I always say this: if your left hand is stronger than your right hand, it's going to have to catch up when we're doing dumbbells, and you're going to actually see that when you're doing dumbbells, which makes dumbbells a little bit more beneficial sometimes, because each individual area, whether it be a leg, whether it be an arm, has to work as one, more so than they're working together in sync, because this machine moves as one more so than ISO work. Unless you're doing something like, hammer strength, you can do ISO work. But like regular machines like Lifetime, hoist machines are actually a lot better. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if it's a point you might be having lower back issues, you might need to strengthen your glutes, and you might need to work on your core. Those can be things you actually got to work on when it comes down to developing your body. One thing I want everybody to understand: if you do not address your imbalances, they will create issues later on in the future. So I'm gonna give you a great example. You notice you somebody that keep tweaking your ankle, and then now you're trying to go heavy with the squats. I want you to understand, the fact that you keep tweaking your ankle is showing that there is an imbalance. The imbalance can be the fact that the calf got to be a little bit stronger. It can be a point that you need to deload a lot of the tension that you have from shoes and wearing, and you have to deload your body, deload your feet from all the tension that it's applying from your daily activities. Because some people don't realize they might be wearing the wrong shoes. Their shoes are boxing their feet in. Little things like that you got to pay attention to. So if you're somebody that's noticing that you're experiencing an injury over and over and over and over again, first thing I always say is you need to jot down everything you've been doing. It could be a point your nutrition isn't on point. So for example, if you're starting to kind of go crazy with your lifting and you didn't increase your calories, or you didn't increase your food intake, it could be a scenario that you might need to eat a little bit more. I've noticed that all the time when I'm starting to push it to a high gear and I want to work out 6 to 7 days a week, and I'm thinking that eating twice a day is going to be good enough. I'm going to tell you right now, your body, just like a car, is going to send you signals to let you know, hey, we got to get it together. We got to get it together. So when it comes down to it too, I always say that if you feel like you're experiencing an injury as well, go see your doctor. As a personal trainer, I don't have machines that do an MRI. I don't have machines that do x-rays. So I always say, if you're someone that's experiencing an injury, the first thing you should do is go see your doctor. Figure out what the issue is. Is it a point that you got a bulging disc in your lower back? That could be a situation that's aggravating the area. It could be a point you don't even know. Your L4, L5 is jacked up right now, And it's messing with everything in sync, because you got to understand, the body really does work as one at the end of the day. Remember, keep dropping your questions. I want the questions. I want the questions. I'm going to go over the questions, by the way. So if I didn't get to your question yet, I am going to go over your questions. So just bear with me. I just like to go into detail when someone's asking me a question to make sure they get my point. But I do want you to understand, get everything checked out. It said, appreciate it, coach, salute. Nah, for sure. Like I said, Matthew, if you need something, let me know, big dog. I'm going to answer your questions for sure, because I want to make sure people are getting the real information. Like I said, I'm not no gimmicks. I'm not going to make nothing up. I'm not going to tell you to do this exercise or this stretch to reduce lower back pains, because some people fail to realize where if you might be experiencing a lower back pain, right? Some of your lower back pains can also not just be from too much tension, but it can be from the area not being strong enough. People miss this all the time. They always like to say, oh, stretch. And you start noticing that you're getting a lot of temporary relief. I do want you to understand something at the end of the day. At some point, if you stretching and we noticing that you still dealing with the same situation, this can be an indicator that we need to strengthen this area. But I always say this at the end of the day, please do me a favor and get checked out just to see what the actual issue is. The worst thing you can do is try to figure it out. And then you think you got to figure it out, and you're doing something that ain't even really benefiting what you thought was going to help. And then now you're dealing with the pain even more and more, because now you aggravated another area. One thing people fail to realize when it comes down to injuries, and you got to be real careful with addressing these injuries, is that the injury can travel to something else. Because after a while, it's like, yo, you giving me too much of a beat down, and this ain't working for me. So like I said before, the worst thing you can do is injure yourself more thinking you have it figured out. Because we ain't all got it figured out at the end of the day. And like I said, as a certified personal trainer, I want you to know, the doctors, they keep telling y'all to avoid these people. They don't know what they talking about. They know what the hell they talking about. Not all. Just like trainers at the end of the day. Not all trainers really know what they talking about. Because we don't talk about this. When it comes down to it, as us as people, you can be book smart as a motherfucker. But when it comes down to implementing it, that's a whole different situation. You get what I mean? But trust me when I say this. What it do, big dog? Trust me when I say this. You can get more of what you want if you understand a lot of the basics. Understand the worst thing you can do is run into what? I ain't get that. But okay. But remember, keep dropping your questions, by the way. Like I said, I want to make sure you're getting in great shape. I had a question that I really want to answer. Like I said, I'm going back to the question. So if I missed your question, I'm going back to the questions. We asked about the sauna. How often do you train abs? Like I said, I do ab work right before my workouts. All of my workouts, I do ab work. Because for me, I'm going to be real with you. I forget to work abs if I push them to the end. It says, what workout can I do to burn body fat, and what should I eat to see changes? So when it comes down to exactly what you should eat, you got to pay for that. I don't get y'all that. I'm going to be real with you. You got to pay for that. So if you somebody that wants specifics, I got nutrition programs that you can take advantage of, but I don't spill all the extra, because once again, I need to know more about you. In order to give you the right information, I need to know more about you. I talked about this earlier. There's no cookie cut approach to what you should eat, because everybody's gut health is different. You may actually be allergic to X amount. For me, I'm not allergic to it, so it works best for me. If we allergic to that one thing, then we may need to find something else to consume that has similar benefits. You get where I'm going? But when it comes down to burning the body fat, what you need to do is focus on resistance training and cardio. I tell people this all the time. You're doing the same things, and you're generally eating the same things to gain weight, and you're doing the same things and eating the same things to lose weight. The only difference you might see is portion size changes. If it's a point that you want to lose weight, you can easily bump up your activity level and eat the same thing you're eating right now. If you're eating quality foods, by the way. First thing when it comes down to the food, I tell y'all this all the time. Do me a favor and make sure you're reading the ingredients. That's far more important than anything at the end of the day. I need you to make sure you're reading the ingredients. That's important. If you're not reading the ingredients, you can't even understand what's in it. These companies want your money at the end of the day. So things are getting trickier and trickier. They're seeing that you're educated, so you know what they do? They switch the wording. Some of the wording is all natural. When you flip to the ingredients, you'll start to see it ain't as natural as they say it's going to be. You get what I mean? They understand that you want things that are so-called grass-fed, no antibiotics. I'm telling y'all right now, you have to know where these things are coming from and understand what's in your food by, for starts, reading the ingredients. If you somebody that don't want to weigh out your foods and things of this nature, I always say the next thing from the ingredients you should do is read the serving size. Instead of worrying about how much protein should I be intaking, and instead of worrying about you needing to cut carbs, the first thing I always say is you need to consume more vegetables. If you somebody that likes sugar and you eating a bunch of candy, switch that to fruit. Switch it to fruit. That's your new candy. Natural candy. That's not going to tax you as much as the candy that you're consuming because it has artificial ingredients. High fructose syrup. I want y'all to understand that's the cheapest sugar you can buy. These companies don't care. They want to make more money at the end of the day. So what they going to do? Instead of giving you something like raw cane sugar, what they going to do? They going to give you high fructose corn syrup. So do understand, understanding a lot of these basics is going to help out with a lot. It's going to help out with a lot. Remember, keep dropping your questions. I'm going over the questions as we go along. Somebody asked me something. I wanted to answer this question. But when it comes down to dropping the body fat, like I said, you want to implement resistance training. Resistance training is going to be important. Also, once again, you want to make sure, because remember, the resistance training is not just about building muscle. It's allowing you to keep the muscle that you already have. The more muscle you have, the easier it is for you to be able to burn calories from doing absolutely nothing. A lot of people miss this. I want you to be able to burn calories in your sleep. So check this out. For every 1 pound of muscle you have built, that puts you in a position of burning about 20 to 50 calories per day at rest. So check this out. If we have 5 pounds of muscle, right? For every 5 pounds of muscle that you have, we can burn at least 250 to 500 calories per day at rest. So, and this is another reason why I say you want to make sure when you have resistance training, you're implementing a proper nutrition plan, because you don't want to be in so low of a caloric deficit that you're just eating away the muscle that you have. Because do understand, the body's going to eat away muscle. It says, what are your top 3 exercises? That's what I was looking for. What are your top 3 exercises? My top 3 exercises at the end of the day is going to be squats, burpees, and pull-ups. I'm going to repeat myself. My top 3 exercises at the end of the day are going to be squats, burpees, and pull-ups. And I'm going to tell you why. I love squats at the end of the day because I was a person, when I first started working out, I skipped legs. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I was so focused on the chest. I was so focused on arms. And I was real fashionable around that time. I was spending $600 on jeans and bullshit like that. And I'm going to tell y'all one thing. I did not want to get rid of some of my clothes, mainly when it came down to the pants. Shirts can easily just stretch out depending on the material. But when it came down to the pants, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I did not want to get rid of some of the pants that I had, because at that point, I still wear a 28 waist, but my quads were getting bigger quick when I would do leg training. But now, when I trained for years after it, so say I was working out for about 2 years, and then I reached this plateau. My upper body just seemed as though it wasn't getting strong at all. I don't care what I did, how much rest I gave my body, how much food I ate, things to that nature. I do want you to understand one thing. I'm going to be real. I was skipping the legs, and then I hit this plateau where I wasn't seeing physique changes, none of that. And somebody had a conversation with me and was like, my man, the legs looking a little skimp. For me, I took it to heart at first. Was like, man, you tripping, da-da-da-da-da. I know how to hoop. I can run fast. Making all these excuses as to how my legs were so-called strong. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The first goddamn 2 weeks of me implementing legs, I was able to break plateaus that quick. And since then, I've always said, the one thing I'm going to throw into my routine is going to be squats. Squats is a full body workout, one of the most difficult exercises you can do. That's why a lot of people avoid them. That's why a lot of people avoid them, because it's difficult. The taller you are, the harder it is. You got to work all the way through them legs. The shorter you are, it is what it is, but it's still a difficult movement altogether. So me personally, I was like, you know what? Let me tap in a little bit more with my legs. And I saw a significant difference with my physique. Arms was blowing out, chest was blowing out, back was blowing out. So that's one thing I will say. Train them legs. I've been there, done that. I skipped legs like a motherfucker at one point, and I ain't skipping them no more. So I do want you to understand you need to train them legs, mainly for my men. If you want more testosterone, don't worry about no damn testosterone booster. Hit them legs. Challenge them legs. The legs are very strong. The average person that's even thinking they tapping their legs aren't tackling their legs as much as they should be or could be at the end of the day. So be mindful of that. I need you to be mindful of that. You feel me? The reason why I put pull-ups, I'm going to say pull-ups too, because at one point when I wanted chest development, I was thinking, you know what, let me just bench a little bit more. Let me bench a little bit more. I keep benching and benching and benching. Chest look all right, it wasn't too bad. But once I incorporated pull-ups, mainly when I got into weighted pull-ups, it took my back gains to a whole nother level. So that's one thing I want you to do if you can do it. If you can't do pull-ups, I need you to get stronger. Go through the phase of getting your body stronger. You ain't going to get stronger overnight. Take 6 months to really be able to do pull-ups. Once you start getting 3 sets of 15, and 3 sets of 15 body weight pull-ups are easy, that's when we need to start throwing some type of weight. You can start off with 10 pounds, 25 pounds, 45 pounds, whatever you can handle. The beautiful thing that I love about pull-ups is, too, the forearm's going to have to get stronger. And I'm telling y'all right now, lat pull-downs do not compare to pull-ups at all. I'm going to repeat myself. Lat pull-downs do not compare to pull-ups at all. So do me a favor and make sure you knock out them pull-ups. If you can do weighted pull-ups, keep them things in your routine. Going to be a game changer when it comes down to back development. And a lot of people don't realize the back does help develop the entire body. So if your back training is lacking, just like your leg training, that physique is not going to look where you want it to be. I'm telling you right now, big difference. Another reason why, so the third exercise that I picked, remember, keep dropping your questions. I'm going to go over these questions. The third exercise that I picked was going to be mountain climb. I mean, not mountain climb. I see mountain climbers on here. But not mountain climbers, burpees. The reason why I say burpees, for me, I love burpees because as you get older, the most difficult thing you're going to be able to do is pick yourself off the ground. So if we want to create longevity, one of the easiest ways to create longevity and have a kick-ass workout, because remember, I'm just talking about regular burpees. You can start combinating all this other stuff into what you're doing and etc. Burpees is going to be a game changer at the end of the day. Burpees is going to be a game changer at the end of the day. Like I said, Father Time is undefeated at the end of the day. Father Time is undefeated. So if you want to maximize your physique, you want to maximize longevity, burpees is one of the easiest things to do. And I'm going to be real with you. I train people that are in great shape, and I train people that are out of shape. And I'm going to tell you one thing. I hear so many people complain about burpees. So if you out of shape and you like, man, I can't stand burpees, I want you to know, I train people that are in great shape, and they still don't like burpees. Which shows how difficult of a movement burpees is. Y'all remember the old commercial where I'm falling up down, I can't get up, where the lady fell in the house and they had I think life alert. There we go, life alert. Where they had the life alert, and at the end of the day with the life alert, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Can you pick yourself up at the end of the day? It says, where do you train at? I'm online. So if you want me, I do online coaching only right now. I do online coaching only. So if you do want me as a trainer, I do online coaching only. Matter of fact, just check out my Patreon, Coach Kemp Jr. It shows you all my programs. My programs are as low as $10, as high as $700. And it shows you what each program offers. So I do only online at the moment, because I've noticed that when I train clients in person, I've noticed my online clients get better results than my clients in person. Because I train clients that train with me 4 times a week. I do 4 times a week for $1,400 a month, right? So if you want to train with me 4 times a week, I do it for $1,400 a month. And I'm noticing that even despite my clients paying as much as they pay to train with me, I always got to work with them harder because they see that they work with me more and they feel as though they can do more BS. Man, I try to get people to understand, just because we train harder does not mean that we should be messing up more. We need to be more on top of our nutrition, our training, our recovery, so that we can maximize the results that we want to get. I like to get people results quickly. We're not trying to work on getting in shape for 3 years. That's not what the goal is. Mainly if you follow my program at the end of the day. Mainly if you gotta follow my program at the end of the day. Let me see. It says, do you do calisthenics or weightlifting? Check out my profile. I showed you exactly what I do. Everything that I do, I tell y'all this all the time. I'm a weightlifter in general. Calisthenic people don't hit legs. For me, I want y'all to understand at 158 pounds, I can squat 315. I can deadlift 400 pounds. I can bench 225 with ease. I can do weighted pull-ups with a 45 pound. You see exactly what I do. I show everybody what I do on a regular basis. All you got to do is check out my profile. I even give you free workouts on a regular basis. These are workouts that everybody can do. If you see me doing weighted pull-ups, all you got to do is do regular pull-ups. If you can't do body weight pull-ups, then all you got to do is do assisted machine pull-ups. All you need to know is the modification to use, but every exercise that I post is for everybody at the end of the day. He said, did you say 115? Now I'm 158 right now. As of right now, I'm 158. I'm 158. So do understand, as a trainer, I tell this people all the time, because people ask me, why you don't show us no testimonies? I am my testimony. What else do I need to show you? If I've been able to sign up a client that paid $1,500 a month, what the hell do I need to show you a testimony? What do I need to prove more to you for? I started to realize it just shows me at the end of the day, you just keep making excuses. And then on top of that, when I jump on live, I give you free game. I'm giving you exactly what I do. I'm letting you know that you ain't got to buy a creatine. I don't take protein shakes. I don't do any of that stuff. You get what I'm saying? It says, what do you think about watermelon only diet? It's ludicrous. I just talked about this. That's considered a gimmick to me. Like, why do you need to go that extreme in order to get in great shape? Why do you need to fast with just watermelon? I think those type of diets are unrealistic. What you need is more vegetables in your diet, because most of y'all not eating vegetables for I see it on a regular basis. Matter of fact, do me this favor. I want everybody on the live right now to name at least 5 vegetables that they consume on a weekly basis. 5. You can't use broccoli. You can't use broccoli, and you can't use what's a basic one? You can't say salads. I don't want to hear anything about no damn salad, no lettuce or nothing. So broccoli, salads, and asparagus, you can't use those 3. And I'll wait. And I guarantee you we ain't gonna see too much. Vegetables is something people need to consume on a regular basis. Look, you said you got me. Exactly. Why do we keep trying to do these extreme diets if we still haven't built a healthier relationship with food? That's what I want y'all to understand. Stop asking me about what's the top vegetable for blah, 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 blah. You don't even consume vegetables to be asking me what's the top vegetables. You get where I'm going? I want y'all to think more logical. Don't get caught and keep moving the goalpost to something else where you need to take this extreme fast, or you need to do this and you need to do that. No, you need to build a healthy relationship with food. And you know what you need to stop doing? You need to stop going to restaurants, and you need to stop ordering Uber Eats and DoorDash. Do me that favor. I got one. Somebody said cucumber, snapper peas, corn. That's what I'm talking about. I said 5 though, by the way, big dog. You gave me 4. I said 5. It says you cook every day. No, I told you I have a personal chef. I do not have time to cook. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't picked up a pot or pan within the last 5-6 years. I'm going to keep it real with you. I spend the extra money for somebody to do it for me because I don't have time. I'm not rich. It's not as expensive as you think. It's the same concept of ordering a meal prep service. I need you to understand, private chefs at the end of the day can cost as low as meal prep services. It's who do they cater to? They just helping you save more time. And I always say this: if you don't have the time available, do me a favor and make sure that you're making the time to prep your meals. Me personally, I don't have the time. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't have the time. So for me, because I don't have the time, I allow the budget that I was going to use to make foods, instead of making the time, I'd rather make more money. I'd rather make more money. You don't have to be rich to get a goddamn meal prep service. You don't. I'm gonna be real with you. You don't have to be rich to get a meal prep service or get a personal chef. I'm gonna give you a cheat code, matter of fact, if you're looking for a personal chef. If any of your family members are in culinary arts school right now, why don't you just hire them for a low budget? Why don't you just say, I can't cook. I know you know how to cook because you're trying to be a chef. Why don't I tap in with you with this, the blah, 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 and then go from there? Okay, we got one person. My man Eddie pulled up and gave us 5. He says corn. We got peas, carrot, green beans. I see you. That's a good start. Oh, I see you, big dog. Oh, you named a lot. You said cucumbers, snapper peas, corn, green beans, Brussels sprouts. Okay. We got 2 people out of 15 people on live right now that eat vegetables on a regular basis. But the average person, once again, is not consuming enough vegetables. I talk about this all the time. If you somebody that is eating out almost every day, you already moving in the wrong direction. If you order Uber Eats, DoorDash, I don't care if you ain't even ordering and you pull up to the fast food spot or restaurant, you already moving in the wrong direction. You don't need to do no damn watermelon fast. You don't need to do no fasting. You don't need to do any of that. Matter of fact, what I would say so you can understand what's in these foods that you're consuming is pull out something like MyFitnessPal and see how much damage you're really doing. Do me a favor. We all got ChatGPT, Gemini, Google, whatever you want to use. I want you to research how many chemicals are in some of the foods that you're consuming. Oh, shout out to Poland. I appreciate you tapping in, big dog. Remember, drop your questions if you got questions, because we are going over a lot of questions. Like I said, I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you everything raw, no chase. I'm not giving you no cut cards. I'm not telling you to look like me. You need to chug 2 protein shakes a day. You need to work out 5 days a week. No, you don't need to do all of that. What you need to do is build a healthy relationship with food. You need to understand that eating healthy is not expensive. It's not. You know what's expensive? Going to the bar and going to get a drink. You ain't getting a bottle when you spend $18. You get where I'm going? It says, where are you from and where do you train? I train online. I do not have any in-person clients. So if you want to train with me, I have online services. All you got to do is go to Patreon. When you go to the Patreon, type in Coach Kemp JR, all together, Coach Kemp JR. Type that all together. It's my username if you're paying attention. All you got to do is type in my username. In the Patreon, it's going to show you all my online programs. The only other program that I do offer that's online that I will have to send a link to you is my Get Right program online. Like I said, I don't have any in-person training. I'm overwhelmed with in-person people right now. I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm very overwhelmed with in-person people right now. So online is what I'm focusing on. And my in-person, I got just enough in-person people to make sure I take care of them and they can get great results. But do understand, you can get great results online as well. Like I'm tracking the whole process. With my online programs, mainly if you're in a Get Right program, I track everything for you, everything. It shows me how many steps you're taking if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit. I do all your workouts. All your workouts are via app. If it's a point that we need to touch in on a weekly basis to get a better understanding of how we should move forward and come up with strategies to overcome you not having time, not knowing what to eat, I'm here for it. I want y'all to understand that. I hold your hand in the process as a trainer because I do want you to understand you don't need all the extra that people make you think you need. Those are sales gimmicks. You need to know what foods to eat to source from the supplements that they're selling you. If it's by some chance you do not eat these things on a regular, then at that point, I do understand the importance of supplementation. But remember, supplementation should be what you aren't getting from your daily intake. But I always say this, why try to get something synthetic when you can get the real thing. You just got to know how to shop. You just got to know where to get it from. And those are things that I teach you. I teach you how to shop. I teach you how to source for quality goods. If you live in a food desert, do understand you're going to have to travel a little far to go get it. Me personally, I don't live in a food desert. I live in an area where a farmer's market is five minutes away from me. I talk to the local farmers. I can walk to another. I got 2 farmers markets within my area. One is 10 minutes away. One is a 5-minute walking distance in my shopping center every Saturday and Sunday. So for me, I do have those things around me. But once again, if you don't understand, because I've trained a lot of clients over the years that honestly don't know how to eat. They thought they just eat and it is what it is. Some people don't understand how processed foods are really destroying your body. One thing that's scary to me about the body is you can take the body through BS for years at the end of the day. And it only take that one time for the years and it's out of whack completely. Out of whack completely. You know what I'm saying? It says, how important is doing legs? We talked about that earlier. Legs is very important, mainly for males. Remember, people talk about lack of testosterone. For one, if you want to make sure you got good testosterone, make sure you keep that damn phone out your pocket because that's affecting your hormones too. People don't realize that. I was watching a documentary about if you put your phone by your face, it increases the chance of you getting a tumor. I'm not gonna go into that because that's a whole different thing. But I'm just giving a little extra. But when it comes down to legs, you gotta work legs, man. You have to train legs. Do you have to train legs 6 days a week? No. Training legs effectively, when I train legs, what I like to do is one day is going to be time under tension, where I'm going more with a moderate to lightweight, because I don't really train with lightweight. I train with light to moderate weight, where I can focus on form and technique, so my body can get acclimated to doing things the right way. And then going from there, do understand, one day out of the week, we need to bang some weight. I'm getting under that 315. If my body can handle 315. Because sometimes I want y'all to understand, if you see your numbers reduce, it's not necessarily because you got weaker. You just haven't realized how the things you've done throughout the week have already taken a toll on you mentally or physically. Just to give you a heads up. You know what I'm saying? Legs extremely got to be top tier. Of course, legs without a doubt. If you're not training them legs, you're missing out. I tell people this all the time. If you're not training them legs, you're missing out. I think I answered the, do you cook every day? Nah, I don't cook. I told you I don't cook every day. This is opinion on round people. I don't know what that means. I need you to elaborate my opinion on round people. I think I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't want to, read into it the wrong way. I don't want to read into the wrong way. Oh yeah. My man said, God, yeah, 115. I'm not 115. That's crazy, big dog. I'm not 115. That's crazy. 115. So funny thing though, when I did start my fitness journey, I was hovering between that 90 to 110. When I first started my fitness journeys, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I played soccer and baseball, so I wasn't introduced to a lot of resistance training. I didn't start lifting weights until my first year of college, and that was in 2008. And then by 2009, I was certified. I fell in love with fitness so much. I had already been doing fitness for so long. And I like to get people to understand, I have a balance. And this is another reason why I don't talk to you all about supplements and things of that nature. My mom was a nurse. So when it came down to health, I'm very conscious about the importance of blood work. I used to go to my mom's doctor's office all the time and see her spinning the blood work and watch it separate. You get what I mean? So health is always important to me. I tell people this all the time. There are phases within my training program that I'm more fitness oriented than I am actually health oriented. But I do try to get people to understand I'm getting older. I'm 34 years old and I've been doing this for a long time. Oh, I appreciate it. Started great. Come in showing love. I appreciate that, big dog. But I do try to get people to understand, when I do what I do, it's been because of where I started at. I used to run all the time. When I played baseball, I just wanted to hit home runs. So I was aware of the hip, the power of hip, motion, things to that nature. But I never lifted weights to get strong. It wasn't until 2008 when my best friend, he played football. He said, dog, I'm trying to be a running back next year. I need a gym. The beautiful thing is my dad was already military. So I could bring a guest for free. I had military ID. We good to go. You get what I'm saying? So from there, he had the car, because I ain't had no car, and we had a free gym membership. And we trained 5 days a week. 5 days a week. The beautiful thing about me working out at a military base, I was around people that didn't do the most. And what I mean by do the most, they weren't there to hurt themselves or anything to that nature. And they had a free personal trainer on site. So I was able to get the best of the best, where if I was doing too much, I would have somebody that seen that I was younger and like, hey, my man. And I'm going to give you a story. I remember when my boy, he was starting to go up with weight, and I was still struggling with the weight. The reason why I was struggling with the weight, I didn't notice, is because I wasn't eating enough. I still wasn't eating enough. I was eating still as if I was 90 pounds. And I was starting to grow weight little by little by little by little. But the thing is, I didn't see the change in my physique. But my boy, he was taking the protein shakes, you know what I'm saying? He was looking swole. And I'm like, damn, like, we doing the same thing outside of, doing the same weight. But he's advancing a lot faster than me. And I remember it was one time he was doing curls. He was doing curls with 30 pounds. He was making that shit look easy. At this time, I was still doing 15, 25-pound curls. So I see him pick up the 35s. He started going up again. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out real quick. I pick up a dumbbell. It was 27.5. And I'm in the gym like this, trying to get it. And I'm going to tell you one thing. The trainer ran over there and said, my man. I understand you in here with your boy, and I've been seeing y'all work out for some months. But I need you to focus on you. There are going to be points where he's going to do certain things, you stronger than him, but I need you to start where you are. And I'm going to tell y'all, that one thing stuck with me for the rest of my life when it came down to training. I said, you know what? I could never be worried about what the next man is doing. I need to be worried about what I'm doing. Despite us working out together, do understand he was already lifting more than me. So I'm like, why am I starting to play this game? And I started to realize I was only playing the game because I was getting frustrated because I didn't realize it was going to take longer than I thought. And once I realized it took longer than I thought, you know what I said? I said, you know what? Let me focus on me from now on, and me only. When it's time to lift more, it's going to be time to lift more. But I try to get people to understand, when I started my fitness journey, I was struggling with the damn barbell. The 45-pound barbell. I was barely able to do 10 reps. Barely. So getting to the 225 weight, getting to the 100-pound dumbbells, you can't tell me nothing. Squatting 315, you can't tell me nothing. Deadlifting 400, you can't tell me nothing. Leg pressing 1,000 pounds, you can't tell me nothing. But I try to get people to understand, take your time. These are not things that I just jumped to do. I took my time. I was more than patient to see, if I give it a little bit more, how it's going to feel. I try to get y'all to understand that makes a drastic difference when it comes down to building your physique and being able to stay injury free. This past 2 years was the most injuries I've ever had in my life. And it's not from me working out. It's from me getting in 2 car accidents back to back. And I'm going to tell you, it humbled me. It humbled me not being able to lift the weight I was able to lift at some point. I'm like, damn, I can't lift a 100-pound dumbbell now. What's going on? But I said, you know what? If you ain't been training like that, why can you expect your body to just jump back on something like that? You didn't start your fitness journey off like that. So I said, you know what? Let me take it step by step, day by day. And that's what a lot of people miss. They get so caught in their best friend losing 100 pounds, but you don't even want to take Ozempic. They took Ozempic. They ain't tell you that. But you so focused on what they doing. Never worry about how the next man is mowing a lawn. Never worry about how the next man is mowing a lawn. Because what you're going to start to see when you go on a lawn and you start to see their process, you're going to be like, you know what? I see why my lawn don't look this good. They watering it. They seeding it. They mow it. They mow it to a point it's not so low, but them mowing it, the fact that it's not so low, they got to cut the grass every week. You want to cut the grass once a month. You got to pay attention to some of those things. That's another reason why I say when it comes down to you and your journey, I need you to focus on you. Don't worry about nobody else. Focus on you and what you got going on. Don't worry about what the next man going on. And then you have to understand, Everybody's body is set up completely different. Completely different. Everybody's body's not designed the same way. And God made you the way he made you for all the right reasons. You special. You special. You just got to know that. You got to feel that. You got to believe that. And a lot of people don't believe that. This is another reason why I tell people, you got to take the time to work out. You got to take the time to work out. This is bettering yourself mentally and physically. I'm telling you right now, I've been in shape for a long time. I remember when my chest first was popping. I used to get in the car in the summertime. Man, I'm going to let I don't need the AC. Man, roll down the windows, dog. Show them the chest, show them the arms. I got the arm out the window. I'm past that now. And I want y'all to understand, when we talk about genetics, the average person, when we talk about genetics, has not even pushed themselves hard enough to see the results that they can potentially get. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. The average person is not pushing themselves hard enough to see that they're genetic limitations. They not. I see it all the time. I've been training since 2010. I want y'all to understand that. I'm 15 years in the game as a certified personal trainer. I want y'all to really understand that. I want you to let this sink in. I've noticed the people that fall off the most, they want so much in a little bit of time. You have to allow your body to process everything that you're putting it through. If you want to lift heavy, you got to start off with the lighter weight, then move to the moderate weight. Once the body gets acclimated to the moderate weight and you got good form and good technique, then we can start going up a little bit more. But no, what do we see? What do we see? We see that one person that's like, you know what? He's over there lifting 315, and now you want to try 315 and you barely lifting 330, 135 with good form and technique. We got to make it make sense. The worst thing you can do in fitness is compare your level 1 to somebody else level 53. You get what I'm saying? Oh, nah. Technique is critical. You speaking facts. I appreciate you started great, man. You came in, dog. I see why you the great, man. I see why you the great. It says, oh, yeah, when you skinny, you got to eat right. Fast food, not cutting it. I was the same way. I got to give you a game. Since you speaking on that, I was that trainer at one point. I remember when I first got certified, dog. I got certified through ISSA. That was my first certification. I thought I was the top dog. I always tell people, once you get certified, that's just the entry level. That don't really mean you know shit. You still got to know how to implement it, talk to the person the right way. You know what I mean? Because some people don't realize they want to talk like they a doctor and the person can't comprehend. If the person can't understand what you spitting, then you moving in the wrong direction as a trainer. I try to get people to understand this all the time. You talk like a doctor to a doctor and physical therapist. You don't need to talk like a doctor to a damn client. The client needs to be able to understand and digest everything you putting down. But long story short, I was in great shape from eating crazy. I'm talking about I had Chick-fil-A breakfast and lunch every day. Breakfast and lunch every day, I'm telling y'all. Can't even lie to you, dog. I'm not going to lie to you. Chick-fil-A, breakfast or lunch every day. And I would go to a restaurant for lunch or dinner every day. Sometimes both. I would go to a restaurant, sometimes both, depending on how much time I had available. This was when I was actually managing the training department. People used to always be like, man, you're in great shape. It was one of my trainers was warning me like, dog, like I ain't gonna fake, bro. You in great shape and I see how you eat. But you gonna have to eventually change that. Like, man, you can eat whatever you want. You can still look good. I've been doing this for a couple years. And this is when I went on my own. When I was with my parents, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, we ate out once a week. And that was on Saturdays. If we went to a mall or we went out to something like that, my mom would take us to a restaurant. And if we had an exceptional week, we might get some from like Potbelly's Sunday after church, right? So I want you to understand, once a week, seriously, once a week. So when I went out on my own, I was making my own paper. I'm like, shit, man, I'm going to eat restaurants every day. I can afford it. I'm not going to fake to you. I can afford it. It is what it is. Restaurant, $30 for a high quality meal. Then it started being $50 for a high quality meal, $100 for a high quality meal. I'm like, I'm eating the best of the best. It is what it is. Who cares? It was one day I was getting ready for work to go to the gym. Start getting this pain in my abdominal area. I'm like, damn, like, I feel like somebody was sticking me with a knife. Oh, I appreciate it, big dog. Come on, you coming in showing big love. I appreciate that, big dog. It seemed like somebody was sticking me with a knife. I'm like, yo, something ain't right. I take my shower. It went from like a 3 to a 6. I'm like, whoa, 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 something ain't right. Something ain't right. I'm getting dressed, eat my breakfast. Next thing I know, I walked to the car. It went to a 20. It was really to the point I turned my car on, opened the door, and fell on the ground and was just hoping that the pain would go away. You know what happened, dog? I was eating so much trash. My body couldn't even break down the gas that was coming from these processed foods. This trash food. Since that day, drastically changed what I was consuming on a regular basis. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my life. I was in the hospital for a day. They gave me some medications and all that other stuff to be able to break down the gas. Eventually, I felt bad. I'm not going to lie. I tested the waters a little bit later. Probably like 2 weeks went by. I started consuming a little bit more trash. And I'm going to tell you that when that pain slightly came back, I said, you know what? You got your point. This ain't for me. This ain't for me. Since then, I've tightened up year after year after year after year on making sure I put premium gas in my Ferrari. I want you to do the same thing. I put premium gas in my Ferrari, as you can see. This is another reason why I garden now. I don't want to keep putting food in somebody else's hands. How many companies have we seen say, oh, it's not processed, oh, it's not this, and then 5 years go by, it's this lawsuit from them lying. How many times are we going to see this? We see this with energy drinks. We see this with food. We see this with so many different things. Once I had children, like I told you, I have 3 children, by the way, 3 children. All of my children are under 5. My oldest turns 5 this month, by the way. My youngest daughter just turned 3 a couple days ago. My son is 1. My son turned 1 less than 2 months ago. So I just want y'all to understand how serious this is for me, because I realize I don't want my kids dealing with that. I don't want them dealing with that. When we go to the garden, they growing, they digging, they seeing the process. They get excited when it finally grows. We pulling it from the ground. We even did some tests where we took a cucumber from the grocery store and we took a cucumber from the garden. I'm gonna tell you, it was quicker for the one that we brought in the grocery store to rot. Took a little bit of time for ours to rot because it came straight from the ground. It started to make me think, where is these food coming from? How long is it taking to get to us? How long has it been on the truck? You get what I'm saying? This happened to me, went through surgery because of it. I feel it. I'm glad you had a successful surgery though. Look, we got something in common. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if I wouldn't have stopped, it would have got worse and worse. I feel like if I wouldn't have stopped, it would have got worse and worse. I'm just letting y'all know. Dog. And you put it on, you spoke facts. The reason why, and this is why I did it, is because I'm gonna be real with you. When we went into so-called bulking season, it was easier to put on weight from eating the trash. I remember I tried a fast food diet for 2 weeks straight. The worst thing I ever did. I started breaking out like I was 16, going through puberty. I did look in great shape, but I realized everything was inflamed. Everything, that puffy look, is inflammation. It was just inflamed. I did Burger King, Wendy's, and McDonald's that whole 2 weeks. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Worst decision I ever made. And I tell people this. For me, at that physique, I was fat fit. There's people out here that's fat fit. We don't want to talk about that, but it's a fact. They eating crazy. They work out a lot. Their body's going to burn off some of it. But do understand, if the body's processing trash, trash is trash. We gotta really call a spade a spade. If the body's processing trash, trash is trash. And I try to get people to understand the best thing you can do is source for high quality fruits, vegetables, and protein. You need to do your mission statement. I was lucky enough to work for Whole Foods when I first became a trainer, when Whole Foods was owned by Whole Foods. They taught us so much about fish, grocery stores, protein, all this other stuff. It's like I got free education. It's like I got free education. You are what you eat. You are facts. Facts. And people don't realize that. And they wonder why they tired, they sluggish. They keep asking me, what's the tips to get more energy? Change your food. That's the first thing. Stop eating this ultra processed foods. It says, did a company buy out? Yeah, do your research. Amazon brought out Whole Foods a few years ago. I think it was like over like 6-7 years ago. Whole Foods was having issues with selling their online groceries. They were trying to do an online grocery store. That's another reason why you see like the fresh marks. I don't know what they're called, but like the little fresh marks in like the city areas as far as Whole Foods. Those are their original stores. When they bought out Whole Foods, they shut down a lot of the Whole Foods locations. I'm giving you game. Do your own research so you can see that I'm not shooting shit. I used to work for Whole Foods when Whole Foods was owned by Whole Foods. They sold Whole Foods, dog, to Amazon. And in Amazon, that's when it started being shipping your food and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He said, yeah, Amazon bought it. Facts. It says they don't even know how much gems you dropping. I hope they paying attention. Hey, I hope they paying attention too. That's why I said I come on here to educate people and get them to understand right from wrong. Like I said, the labeling of our foods now, they understand people are more aware and conscious about making healthier decisions. So you know what the companies did because they eating good? They said, man, you better change that label. You better change that label. Another example, I used to work at GNC. This is another reason why I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm a little 50-50 with supplements. I remember working at GNC. This was a plant-based protein powder, by the way. I got a call from my manager. Man, it's a bunch of metals in that protein. I need you to take all that off the counter. Take all of it off the counter, put it in the back. For me, I'm like, dang. So everybody that brought the protein shaker, we going to give them a call to let them know that they should swap off their protein. Nah, they good. Let's make it make sense. Let's make it make sense. Man, my man hated himself. That's crazy. I was like, let's make it make sense. You get what I'm saying? Let's make it make sense. If they're willing to allow you to go to the store, purchase it, and at the end of the day, they purchase it, and at the end of the day, you don't get no call, no nothing. It shows you how much they don't care. They want your paper. But this is the crazy thing. If you do your research on them and their families, they don't even consume it. A good example is with social media. People like Mark Zuckerberg, people like Jeff Bezos, they don't allow their kids to even do the stuff that we have. Or they give us access to use. You got to let some of that sink in sometimes. You got to let that sink in sometimes. You feel me? It says, bro, what's your go-to chest workout? It's the basics. It's the basics. I do a lot of the basics. If you want to know my go-tos, I post them on a regular basis. Like I said, look at my profile if you want to see what I do. I don't exaggerate anything that I've done. I give you reps and I give you sets exactly what I do. But when it comes down to it, I always start off with chest flies. Also, before I go into your chest activity, because I'm gonna give you what you're asking for. In order to have a nice chest, couple things you need to pay attention to. First thing you need to pay attention to if you're somebody that wants a nice chest is you need to pay attention to your body fat percentage. Your chest is going to look good the lower you are in body fat percentage. I'm going to repeat myself. When it comes down to building a nice chest, it's not just about the chest exercises. Look at the chest when we get up here, 35%. I don't care how much benching you doing in this world. I don't care how much benching you doing in this world or what exercises you pick. The chest ain't gonna look that good until we start going lower and lower. Look how much better the chest development looks the lower we go in body fat percentage, right? So that's the first thing I need you to understand is you need to have a lower body fat percentage. That's the start when it comes down to chest activity. Second thing I need you to understand, people fail to realize this. In order to have a nice chest, you got to develop a nice back. The better the back, the better the chest. They balance each other out. If you just do a lot of chest exercises, you're going to look like this. Everything going to draw forward. Once you start getting that back activated and you doing the right back exercises, that thing going to open up. It's going to open up. It's going to open up. You get what I'm saying? So that's the first start. When it comes down to the chest exercises, don't overcomplicate it. You can use machines. I do a lot of. It's going to be, my favorite machine activity is going to be hammer strength incline press and hammer strength decline. So if you somebody that can't do dips, you can get your dip activity from the decline press. You get what I'm saying? I like to do a lot of machines. I'm a machine person. Once I've utilized machines for at least 2 months, then I transition into dumbbell activity with a little bit of cable activity. I'm not a big fan of cable activity because you have to focus more on stability, which takes away from you being able to load the chest with more weight. I like incorporating dumbbells because now I'm able to see how strong each individual arm is to be able to activate and engage the chest. So just to give you a little bit of game on that. But remember, the first things you need to focus on if you want to develop that chest is going to be first, having a lower body fat percentage. You can drop your body fat percentage from eating good, maximizing your recovery, and implementing cardio as well as resistance training in your training regimen. That's the start. Remember that. Second, I need you to understand, you need to make sure you're still effectively training your back. That's going to be important. The back is going to help pull out that chest to make that chest look good. You get what I mean? I chose decline press for those who don't have the shoulder health to be able to do what? To be able to do dips. When I go to dips, I'm doing 145 plate, then I'm doing 245 plates, and then I'm doing 345 plates. I want you to understand, I get busy when it comes down to my chest exercises. So I like to do heavy dips, mainly when I've already maximized my machines. I'm not a big fan of barbell chest press. I feel like barbell, only thing you're really doing with a barbell is balancing the bar with heavy weight. I don't like the restriction you get from it. I don't. I'm not a fan of it at all. I've been able to get great chest development from using machines, incorporating dumbbells, and making sure I get busy with them dips and pull-ups. I do weighted pull-ups as well. You feel me? It says, how do you help me with my torn labrum? First of all, go to your doctor. If you got a torn labrum, the first thing you need to do is go to your doctor. You know what your doctor is going to do from there? Your doctor is going to send you to a physical therapist. Once you go to your physical therapist, you know what your physical therapist is going to do once physical therapy is done? Your physical therapist is going to give you a list of exercises and stretches that they recommend that you utilize with your personal trainer or you do by yourself. Just to be clear. Once again, I say this all the time. Personal trainers need the information from the doctors and the physical therapists to understand what we should be doing next. You're talking to someone who just went through the process. After my car accident, you know the first thing they did? I went to the hospital. You know what the hospital did? They did a CAT scan. They did an x-ray to see if anything was broken. Hey, D, nothing's broken, blah, blah, blah. They sent me to the physical therapist. My shoulder was still jacked up. They said, you know what? We're going to have to do an MRI. I've never met a personal trainer that can afford an MRI machine. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. So when we talk about injuries, I need us to be smart. I don't have the machines that need to understand what specifically we should start off with. We need to find out what the verdict is. Then once again, once you get those exercises and those stretches from your physical therapy, however long you need to be in physical therapy. I was in physical therapy 3 times a week. I was in physical therapy 3 times a week, and I'm telling you right now, they gave me a list of exercises that I should be doing. And they told me if it's okay for me to work out or not. And when it came down to my particular injury, I wasn't able to work out. I can only do physical therapy. This is how old are you? I'm 34. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this, big dog. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. It says, do you think one can work around? I feel like that's a loaded question. Funny thing. I feel like that's a loaded question. But I will say, if your body fat percentage is high, let's focus on dropping the body fat percentage first. It says so caloric deficit. Obviously, I don't get with the get with that. I don't get with that. Okay, I look old. Interesting. I'm in tears. Any questions? Any more questions, by the way? Any more questions before we stab out? Any more questions before we stab out? We went over a lot today. I ain't realized I've been on live this long. Any more questions? I do want to say thank you for everybody that tapped in. Great live today. We got busy today. Started great. I appreciate you, big dog. Don't hesitate to tap in with me, man. Don't hesitate to tap in. You need something, just let me know. I appreciate everybody that tapped in, and we don't got no more questions. Any more questions before we stab out? It says amino acids are building blocks of protein, and too much protein can cause kidney damage long term. Facts. But you know the funny thing? A lot of people don't realize why bodybuilders promote protein shakes and protein so much. They don't realize they work out so much. They're trying to use this to save as much muscle as they possible, and they hoping that they can burn off some of that protein shake instead of the muscle. People don't realize that. It's sad to say, man, the fitness industry has so many sales gimmicks. It's crazy. You know, one thing about BCAAs that scared me too? I want y'all to go to GNC or Vitamin Shop. It's going to be in when you flip it around, it's going to either be to the left or to the right in a rectangle, right? It's going to say something specifically, and I want you to read it. I'm not going to say what it says, but how can you read that and be comfortable with taking it? It's one thing I'm going to say. I want you to go to a GNC Vitamin Shop, find a BCAAs. Like I said, it's going to be in a rectangle. It's going to be close to the ingredients and all that other stuff. And it's going to be in a rectangle. It's going to state something. I want you to do I'm not going to tell you what it states. It's going to state something. I always ask people, how can you read that and be comfortable with taking it? That's all I'm going to say. We're starting to see that a lot of these fast food places have to put a sign on the door. That says may cause cancer, because they have so many different ingredients in these foods. But with that said, I do got to take care of a client. I want to say thank you to everybody that tapped in with me. If you do want to enroll in my coaching, I told you, go to my Patreon. My username, Coach Kemp Jr. Just how it's spelled, Coach Kemp Jr. All you got to do is go to my Patreon. It's going to show you all the programs I have available. If you someone that wants the app, the only thing I don't do through Patreon is my app. My app is a little bit more extensive. That's where you got to do your check-ins once a month. That's where I'm writing out your program. I'm seeing your daily activities. We do phone calls at least once a week to make sure we're moving in all the right direction. I have to send you the link to that. So do me a favor, tap in with me. Oh, come on. I appreciate you, I appreciate you, big dog. You came in and showed love, man. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, if you need something, let your boy know, man. I'm a firm believer. You take care of me, I'm going to take care of you. But with that said, I'm going to catch y'all next live. Make sure you get busy. And don't forget to work out and use a lot of these tools that I gave you. I gave you a lot of fundamentals that you can get in shape with ease now. Y'all have